Where to watch NFL games, Week 3. After an embarrassing Week 2 loss against the New Orleans Saints, the Dallas Cowboys will look to get back on track against reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. The Cowboys-Ravens matchup is just one of several interesting games on the Week 3 slate. Here's a look at the NFL schedule and how to stream NFL games on Fox. Baltimore Ravens at Dallas Cowboys, America's Game of the Week. What? Baltimore Ravens, 0-2, versus Dallas Cowboys, 1-1. When? Sunday, September 22, 3:25 p.m. Central Time. Where? AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Network, Fox. Dallas enters Week 3 with a 1-1 record in an already up-and-down season. After soundly beating the Cleveland Browns in Week 1, the Cowboys were blown out in their home opener against the Saints 44-19. The Dallas offense moved the ball well, but only scored one touchdown against New Orleans. The defense was a no-show from the jump, with the Saints scoring touchdowns on its first 6 drives of the game. In Week 3, the Cowboys will square off against a desperate Baltimore Ravens team who are already in a must-win game. The Ravens started the season 0-2 after losses to the Chiefs and Raiders. Only 6 teams since 1979 have made the playoffs after starting 0-3, including just one since 2000. No Super Bowl champion has ever started a season 0-3. The Cowboys will have to focus on stopping the run after being gashed for 190 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground against the Saints. The Ravens' running game features former All-Pro Derrick Henry, and quarterback Lamar Jackson is a threat with his legs, in addition to his arm. Announcers Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady will be in the booth for their 3rd straight Cowboys game. Week 3 NFL game schedule and networks. Thursday, September 19th. New England at New York Jets, 7:15 p.m. Central Time, Amazon. Sunday, September 22nd. New York Giants at Cleveland, 12 p.m. Central Time, Fox. Chicago at Indianapolis, 12 p.m. Central Time, CBS. Houston at Minnesota, 12 p.m. Central Time, CBS. Philadelphia at New Orleans, 12 p.m. Central Time, Fox 7. LA Chargers at Pittsburgh, 12 p.m. Central Time, CBS. Denver at Tampa Bay, 12 p.m. Central Time, Fox. Green Bay at Tennessee, 12 p.m. Central Time, Fox. Carolina at Las Vegas, 3:05 p.m. Central Time, CBS. Miami at Seattle, 3:05 p.m. Central Time, CBS. Detroit at Arizona, 3:25 p.m. Central Time, Fox. Baltimore at Dallas, 3:25 p.m. Central Time, Fox 7. San Francisco at LA Rams, 3:25 p.m. Central Time, Fox. Kansas City at Atlanta, 7:20 p.m. Central Time, NBC. Monday, September 23rd. Jacksonville at Buffalo, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, ESPN. Washington at Cincinnati, 7:15 p.m. Central Time, ABC. How to watch the NFL on Fox. You can use an over-the-air antenna to pick up your local station's broadcast for free, or watch NFL games through any number of partner providers, such as cable companies, satellite TV packages, or subscription streaming platforms like NFL Plus, Hulu, Sling, Fubo, YouTube TV, and others. Games on Fox can also be streamed on foxsports.com or the Fox Sports app, though you may have to provide your cable company or streaming subscription details. Before all of the games kick off, you can catch Fox NFL Sunday starting at 11 p.m. Central Time on Fox stations. Kurt Menefee, Terry Bradshaw, Jimmy Jhonson, Howie Long, Michael Strahan, and Jay Glazer will break down each week's matchup and talk to key players and coaches. The source. Fox Sports writer Ralph Vacchiano and the AP's Rob Maaddi contributed to this report, along with stats and scores from the NFL and Fox Sports. Troy Aikman says Monday Night Football more prep than Sundays on Fox. While Tom Brady calls his third straight Dallas Cowboys game for Fox, Troy Aikman is having to prepare for different teams every week on Monday Night Football. Aikman joined the latest episode of SBJ's The Sports Media podcast, and during the interview, he was asked about the differences in calling Monday Night Football for ESPN as compared to doing games for Fox. "The biggest difference is we have two different teams every week," Aikman said. "Whereas at Fox we would sometimes have teams back-to-back, or if a team was having a successful year, we would kind of get on their bandwagon a little bit and follow them around. Obviously, our schedule is pretty much set when it comes out in May for Monday Night Football. Maybe a little more prep and getting ready for those games as opposed to at Fox because there's not as much carryover, but other than that it's football and it's broadcasting." Aikman also noted watching game film is the most time-consuming part of that prep work, which should appease Kurt Warner. But it's interesting that Aikman called out prep work as the biggest difference in going from Fox to ESPN for Monday Night Football, especially with Brady now going 3-3 in Cowboys games to start his broadcasting career. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo will probably call their 30th game of Patrick Mahomes' career at some point this season. Awful Announcing predicts Brady will call 6 Cowboys games this season, but it could be as many as 10. Nantz and Phil Simms called 8 New England Patriots games in 2012 for CBS, while Pat Summerall and John Madden called 11 Cowboys games in 1995 and 1996 for Fox. Naturally, the prep work will lessen when you're calling one team 10 or 11 times in the same season, as compared to being tasked with preparing for different matchups each week. And with the NFL restricting Brady's broadcasting access to teams in the wake of his pending ownership bid with the Las Vegas Raiders, it could entice Fox to put him on more Cowboys games for familiarity's sake. And for all of the wondering about how Brady will handle the NFL's restrictions, it may have been a bigger hurdle if he was in Aikman's chair on Monday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys' embarrassing 44-19 loss to the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, September 15, raised more than a few eyebrows, both with fans and those in the media. If franchise quarterback Dak Prescott is expected to succeed and help lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl, he could likely use additional support on the offense, and one NFL expert is calling for the Cowboys to bring on a certain wide receiver from the Carolina Panthers to help Prescott. Carolina Panthers' Diontae Jhonson could be that guy. In a September 17 feature for Fansided, NFL writer and analyst Zach Presnell says he believes Carolina Panthers wide receiver Diontae Jhonson could be that guy to help out Dallas. In the story, he notes that the team's offense could use a few more weapons and that Dak really only has CeeDee Lamb and a few question marks to work with on offense. The Cowboys front office needs to go out and make a splash in the trade market, he stated. Luckily for them, there's a few teams that could be dealing their weapons before the trade deadline. While Presnell says that Adam Thielen could also be a fit for the Cowboys, he writes that Jhonson, specifically, makes sense. Jhonson will be a free agent next offseason but could also make for a nice trade chip for Carolina. Jhonson was added to the Panthers roster this offseason and his contract expires at the end of the season, Presnell added. The Cowboys have a ton of extra draft capital that they could use to acquire him. As for stats, Jhonson caught 107 passes for 1,161 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2021. While those numbers are nothing to wink at, Presnell asserts that, in Dallas, he would excel as the wide receiver 2 with Dak Prescott throwing to him. If Dallas wants to be a serious Super Bowl contender this year, they need to go after another weapon, Presnell added. Diontae Jhonson could be that guy. Back in March of this year, Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report also wrote that he believed Jhonson could be a good get for the Cowboys. At the time, he noted that the Cowboys have a potential need at wide receiver, and that has certainly proven to be true judging by the Saints' loss. Diontae Jhonson could also work for the Rams, Patriots. Not everyone thinks Jhonson will head to the Cowboys. In a September 18 feature for Bleacher Report, Christopher Knox names Johnson's potential suitors as the Los Angeles Rams and New England Patriots. Receiver-needy teams could use Jhonson, who caught 51 passes for 717 yards and 5 touchdowns as the Pittsburgh Steelers' number 2 receiver last year, Knox noted in the piece. The Los Angeles Rams, who now have both Cup, ankle, and Nakua, knee, on the injury list, could be at the forefront of interested teams, Knox noted. The New England Patriots may also want to consider pursuing Jhonson. He added, New England still lacks reliable receiver depth, but after a 1-1 start, and a Week 2 loss coming in overtime, the Patriots are more competitive than most expected.